You sit down to start. The task is simple. You've done harder things before. But something in you won't move. Not because you don't care, not because you're tired. Something deeper is holding the door shut, and you've been calling it laziness. But what if that word was never true? You know this pattern, the to-do list that grows heavier each day, the email you keep meaning to answer, the project that sits, half finished, in a folder you avoid opening. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes a habit of its own. And the strange part is, you're not doing nothing. You're scrolling. You're cleaning a kitchen that didn't need cleaning. You're rearranging your desk instead of using it. This isn't the behavior of someone who lacks discipline. This is the behavior of someone whose nervous system is protecting them from something. Psychologists call this task aversion through emotional avoidance. Researchers Timothy Peichel and Fuchsia Siroa studied procrastination for years. Their conclusions surprised a lot of people. Procrastination isn't a failure of time management. It's a failure of mood management. You're not avoiding the task. You're avoiding the feeling the task brings up. Maybe it's fear of failing. Maybe it's fear of being judged. Maybe it's the quiet ache of not knowing if you're good enough to finish it. So your brain makes a trade. It swaps a long-term goal for short-term relief. And in that moment, checking your phone feels like survival. This is not weakness. This is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. You were never lazy. Lazy implies you don't want to move. But you do want to move. You think about it constantly. You feel guilty for not moving. A truly lazy mind wouldn't carry that much guilt. Guilt means you care. Avoidance means something inside you is overwhelmed. What you're experiencing has a name in psychology: emotional stuckness. It's what happens when your emotional processing system gets overloaded faster than your logical planning system can keep up. You're not broken, you're flooded. And flooded systems don't fail from laziness. They fail from pressure with nowhere to go. Here's what's happening underneath. Your brain has two major players in this story: the amygdala, your alarm system. It scans for threat, not just physical threat, emotional threat too. Failure, judgment, shame, disappointing someone. To your amygdala, these feel just as dangerous as physical danger. Then there's the prefrontal cortex, your planner. It handles focus, motivation, and follow-through. But here's the catch. When the amygdala senses emotional threat, it pulls resources away from the prefrontal cortex. This is sometimes called an amygdala hijack, a term coined by psychologist Daniel Goleman. Your thinking brain goes quiet. Your alarm brain takes the wheel. This is why you can want to work and still feel physically unable to start. It's not a contradiction, it's biology. Your body senses emotional risk and chooses the oldest survival response available: freeze. Not fight, not flight, just stillness. Think of your mind like a circuit breaker. When the emotional current gets too strong, the breaker trips. Not because the system is weak, but because it's protecting itself from burning out. That trip switch is not your enemy. It's a safety mechanism. The problem isn't that it exists. The problem is no one ever taught you how to reset it. So how do you reset a system that isn't lazy, just overloaded? Not through forcing, through regulating. Here are 4 psychological principles that actually help. Number 1, name the emotion before the task. Before opening your laptop, pause. Ask, what am I actually afraid of right now? This is called affect labeling, studied by UCLA neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman. Simply naming an emotion reduces activity in the amygdala. You're not solving the fear. You're just lowering its volume enough to think again. Number 2, lower the size of the first step. Your brain doesn't resist the task. It resists the size of the task as your brain perceives it. This connects to cognitive load theory. When a task feels too large, your mind treats it as a threat, not a project. So shrink it, not write the report. Just open the document. Tiny steps don't trigger the alarm system the way big ones do. Number 3, use behavioral activation, not motivation. This principle comes from clinical psychology, often used in treating depression. It states something counterintuitive. Motivation usually comes after action, not before it. You don't wait to feel ready. You move first, in small physical ways, and the feeling follows the motion. Number 4, practice self-compassion instead of self-discipline. Psychologist Kristen Neff's research found something important. People who treat themselves with kindness after failure recover faster and try again sooner than people who punish themselves with criticism. Shame doesn't create motivation, it creates more avoidance. Kindness creates safety, and safety is what allows the nervous system to unfreeze. Picture your mind as a frozen lake. You used to believe the ice was the problem, but ice isn't broken water. It's water waiting for warmth. Every time you label an emotion, shrink a task, take one small action, or speak to yourself with patience, you're adding warmth, not pressure. Pressure cracks ice. Warmth melts it. This is the simplest model to remember. You don't break stuckness through force. You melt it through safety. You were never the person who didn't care. You were the person who cared so much. The fear of doing it wrong became louder than the desire to begin. That isn't laziness. That's a nervous system trying to keep you safe in the only way it knew how. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to understand yourself. And understanding, slowly, is its own kind of motion. So the next time you sit at that desk and feel the stillness creep in, don't ask, "Why am I so lazy?" Ask, "What am I protecting myself from right now?" That question alone is the first step out of the ice. You were never stuck because you were weak. You were stuck because you were waiting for the moment it finally felt safe to move. And maybe, quietly, that moment is now.